Today on Drawbli.
Whoa, we're getting live action.
Click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve as artists.
And share some art online with that hashtag Drawbli. Because we're painting some fruit. This time I am. If you haven't seen our last video where Abby painted some beautiful fruit, check it out. I am now starting off with my first attempt at the fruits. This one, I was rudely interrupted in the middle of, so we're not gonna see it complete. We're gonna start here with this sketch of some fruit. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna finish it after I go on a journey, a fruit adventure.
I'm gonna assume this was me coming downstairs and saying, let's go to the park.
No, it was something else, but it was you that interrupted me. So I only get in a small sketch of my fruit here, and I'm gonna come back to him later and come back with the knowledge and experience of a fruit master.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that come to fruition.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you haven't heard, Abby and I went on some outdoor painting adventures, bringing with us a lunchbox, not with lunch, but with fruit.
It's in all the tabloids.
Yes, if you don't read the tabloids, oh man.
Scandal abounds. Some lady offered us a pig. At least that's what I thought, but it was just a picture. She offered a picture of us. She said, let me take your picture. And I heard pig, but that's okay.
So if you want to compare Abby's point of view versus mine, Abby was sitting across from me in our last video painting these fruit, so I'm painting them from the opposite side. And this was actually my first time, I think, painting from real life since we've started Drawbli.
That's so cool.
Like doing a life drawing.
I feel like so many
Normally
people
I work
swear
from
by
reference
that. Yeah.
images. I actually had a lot of fun. I thought it was super cool. I think my big takeaway from it was that when you're referencing an image, I feel like you're more so attuned to attempt to go for accuracy, or at least I am. I'm like looking at the photo, you know, trying to get all the colors right, blah, blah, blah. But when I'm working here and painting from life, it was less about that and more about the life reference being inspiration rather than it being like a direct thing that I needed to perfectly copy.
Yeah,
It was like a source that I could pull from to inspire my painting.
I love that. Very inspired. I think that still life has a lot to offer in terms of learning opportunities, because they say you got two eyes, you know, in these situations on 3D objects.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, I hear that. And
I
I'm
see
always
one. I see one JPEG in my head still.
Yeah.
One .mp4 just playing.
Right. Because my two eyes still just make one image.
Yeah, because you can have depth in a 2D image.
And granted, it would change if I covered one eye. That's very true, but I didn't, so I get the image I get from two eyes. Take that, master artists.
We're very experienced professional artists, obviously.
We have a lot of respect for professionals.
Listen to everything we say and then immediately throw it in the trash.
It was fun to go paint outside, though. It's fall.
It was,
here,
and I definitely want to do it again sometime soon. We gotta find something different to paint, though. Some environments, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I feel like that's such a big, tall order. You know, it'd take a long time. It'd be hard because there's so many details in environments. Environments are intimidating.
They are very intimidating. Like this painting. What? Not really. So this is my first one. My first painting outside.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it again.
Yeah. Very nice. I mean, you're taking it's interesting to see, you know, knowing that we spent the exact same amount of time on them, half an hour, and just what we each do and focus on with that half hour. I really enjoy this. I like your sketches on this one. I feel like your sketches in this second pass alone have gotten a lot more confident, a lot less scratchy and chicken scratchy, and a lot more flowy.
They're still garbage, but the lines are just there to guide me.
Yeah, well, that is what a sketch is.
Well, a lot of people will take those lines forward and you can kind of still see the lines. So a thing that we didn't mention in our last video was that it was very bright outside.
So bright.
And it was very difficult to see our screens on our iPads.
And we couldn't paint the shadows because we actually painted these on like a table that had like a lot of holes in it.
It was like grated.
Yeah. So you couldn't really see it, and nobody wanted to sit there and paint the grating.
Yeah, because it would have taken forever.
So we didn't really get a good idea for like the shadows. So we kind of had to guesstimate those, but that's okay.
So I think when we first sat down, I was like, "Are you gonna paint the?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "Good," because that would have taken me like the whole half hour plus some.
Absolutely. No.
So as I was saying, it was really hard to see our screens because it was so bright out. So in a lot of things like color, value, etc., I was kind of guessing. Like I was like, I guess this works. It's kind of really tough to tell. So it's actually really funny to watch it back here and be like, oh, okay. Some good decisions, some not so good decisions. Like the background, I was like, that kind of looks a little green. Turns out it's super green, like very saturated dark green. But I could not tell that when we were outside.
Good. I think it ends up looking really interesting. And I love, again, how much texture you pull into all your pieces. I think that just adds so much to like look at, and it's very pleasing to the eye. Yeah,
I want it to be more fun and more interesting than a photo. If I was going for perfect realism, I feel like I'd pick up a camera. It kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this looks awesome.
My last finishing touches here. I actually think 30 minutes might be too long for this kind of exercise almost. But there are quite a lot of fruit. Maybe if we were only doing one piece of fruit, we could do like 1 in 5 minutes or something like that.
I did feel like when we each painted just like 3 fruit or so, that it was too long.
It was.
Especially because the positions we were in were so uncomfortable.
Well, I have to interrupt you for a second because we have gone on a journey through the woods to our final painting destination on our boulders that were, it was extremely uncomfortable, as I'm sure you recall.
Yes, my neck hurt so bad.
On our journey, I had found a secret treasure.
Oh, really? What was the secret treasure?
You can see it nestled right there on top of my orange and apple.
Oh, the walnut. Oh, I thought you were going to see the crushed Coke can we went by.
Yes, my treasure, Coca-Cola. This episode sponsored by. Yeah, I found a walnut. I'm not sure if it's actually a walnut, but I had these 3 objects nestled in the crack or crevasse of these boulders, these rocks, and yeah, that was my 3 that I drew, and you drew, what did you end up painting?
The lime, the pomegranate, and the lemon.
And it was beautiful, out in that direct sunlight with all the harsh shadows. The walnut was actually kind of difficult to get all the texture on it.
Yeah, but you did a good job so far. I like how you just threw down some lines and with like an inking brush with like varied thickness, and it really translates very well.
Yeah, I thought that would kind of help get it there. You know, again, trying to experiment with getting some like actual color on the canvas, because I feel like it's so hard to get color variation when you're just like painting with a flat brush. I don't know. I've been experimenting with that a lot. Something that I want to try to play with more.
Did you draw a bug on the orange?
Yeah, I had a little bug crawling on my orange.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love it.
I saw him and I was like, oh, you're mine. I must put you in there real quick. Yeah, so I had this nice little sliver of sunlight slicing through my apple.
That. Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty fun.
No, I think painting a sliver of sunlight was something I tried to do with like one of my last pieces, and I love that effect. That's really awesome. I love the bug.
Yes.
There were so many bees there. It was really nice.
Just some big old chunky bumblers.
Yeah, bumblebees, honeybees. It's nice to see bees around. You gotta want to see bees around.
Well, there were quite a lot of big, I don't know
like
what those...
goldenrod or ragweed.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of plants the bees liked there.
Anyway, there's my beautiful fruits and such. We had to take a break halfway in because, man, this was uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We learned something though. Just set up to paint where you're comfortable.
Yes, that is very important. And here we are, like the hero's journey, returning back. Unfortunately, I did have to take a photo of my fruits because... obviously the lighting was going to be way different when I returned to try to paint these. So now I'm going in with everything that I learned on my painting adventures. I feel like I learned a lot, but at the end of the day, practice and repetition is what's going to get you there. So I spent quite a lot of time here. I think an extra 30 minutes working on this, whereas I think the first sketch was maybe nearing on that. I don't know the exact amount of time.
Yeah.
Probably total like an hour, so twice
Okay.
as long here for this one. But I think it shows. I think it was fun to like try to apply some of these concepts a little more completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
here.
No, they look really good. What do you feel like was your biggest takeaway from painting the same fruit so many times?
My biggest takeaway. I mean, I feel like I did have a lot of mini breakthroughs in terms of working with blending edges, like blending the bottoms of my shapes into some of the shadows and playing with those ideas, as well as just playing around with the idea of using my fruit or my subject matter less as a reference to try to paint exactly and more so as inspiration to guide my reference. And I can kind of play with stylizing it a lot more and a lot of other things. I really enjoyed playing around with like the colors here. I brought in some of my older techniques that I like to use with fading opacity and stuff like that. So there was a lot of different things that I took away from it.
Well, you took away a lot of good because this looks like it turns out amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the soft edges on everything, but with still like the really like deep, like almost like outlines. I don't know how to describe it here, what you did, but I really like it.
No one knows.
Nobody knows. It's a question for the ages.
You can't describe it. It's just
Textured.
beautiful. It's art. Can you define art, Abby?
Who
Really?
can define art, really?
And if you want to attempt to define art, you should click that subscribe button
And comment below with ideas of what we can do to improve.
and share something online that you've maybe painted. Hashtag it Drawbli, not Instagram.
And this is the part where we say goodbye.
Goomba.
We gotta eat that pomegranate. I think you gotta know what's inside a pomegranate.
I assume that there's granite in there.
You're not far off. You're not far off.